once I switched the amplifier, we played in the Boston, and then you were carrying my Ampeg head. You dropped on your foot.
We had the Ampeg, the SVT amp. If anybody ever saw an SVT amp, it's tall and thin, and on top of it, it sits the head. And for some reason, we were, at that point in the band, we were loading our equipment. Didn't we have a truck? No, we had a truck. We had a Ryder truck.
Oh, yeah.
And I was pushing it up the ramp, and it fell down and landed on my foot. Is that the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it landed, the thing landed on my foot, and by the time, it immediately started swelling up. I had to take my shoe off, and we drove back. I thought I broke my foot. I went to St. Vincent's Hospital. It was sprained, and I had a sprained foot. I played on stage with my sprained foot for a while. I had a big white thing on my, but I didn't break it.
No.
I still have a scar there. It's like all discolored on the top of my foot. Yeah.
That was a ton, the head.
Yeah, it's a big head, SVT Ampeg SVT. I landed on my foot.
But, cars was there.
Oh, the Cars, yeah. Yeah, so Elliot Easton, I don't know who from the Cars showed up, but I remember Elliot Easton was there. And many, many years later, I had a friend named Mark Bosch. He's a guitar player. Mm-hmm. He's a really good guitar player. He was friends with Elliot Easton, and Elliot was a left-handed guitar player, but Mark wanted to play like Jimi Hendrix. So he used to get his left-handed guitars. But he had this Elliot Easton guitar, and he says, why don't you take it home? You can mess around with it. It was like this Schecter guitar. And
what was Schecter?
Schecter was a guitar. I don't know if they're still around. Very good guitars, like Strat type of guitars. I brought it home because I wanted to play a Strat. I didn't have a Strat at the time. Uh-huh. And just to sort of play around with.
How do you like it?
I like Strats. I have at home right now. I went out and bought 3 guitars recently. In the last 20 years, I bought a Les Paul, mm-hmm. which is a lefty Les Paul.
Right.
I bought a lefty Strat.
Uh-huh.
It's a 57 reissue. It's beautiful, and an acoustic guitar, a Gibson J50.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But the Strats are just great. It's still not really me,
It's different sound, It's a little bit lighter than Gibson in a way.
Well, what I did. I mean, if you want to talk about guitars, eventually in the band, because the Gibson Flying Bs were breaking, the headstocks would hit against something and they would snap, and I would epoxy them, the headstocks on. I would just take epoxy and it would set in 15 minutes, and you could play. But it was like glass. If you touched it, would break. So I kept doing that, and eventually somebody up on 48th Street Guitars, they said, we can make you a Flying V. And at the time, the kit guitars were becoming popular. Eddie Van Halen had the kit guitar. Okay. And the kit guitar is you could buy a Flying V body and then you buy a neck. So I got a Flying V body and I put in a Fender neck. Mm-hmm. So it's a bolt-on neck.
Right.
It's not a Gibson neck. Gibson is more straight.
Yeah.
So with humbucker pickups, it had the Fender neck, like the Jimi Hendrix or the Eric Clapton mm-hmm. neck, and the Flying V body, bolt-on, and then I also got a I'm pretty sure it was the first left-handed Floyd Rose made. If any guitar players are out there, it wasn't fine tuning, so it took a while to tune it, but once you locked it, and this guitar, I still have it, it's indestructible. Huh. You can drop it and it doesn't break, mm-hmm. it stays in tune pretty much, And then I made another one, a white one, but this guitar is sort of a hybrid between a Gibson and a Fender. Right. It has a little brighter sound mm-hmm. than a Gibson, right. but it still has that humbucker sound. And like, I'm not an expert here, but a lot of guitar players put humbuckers in Strats to give it a, and so that's what it is. This is like a Strat with a humbucker.
Right. Okay.
So that's if any, it's kind of boring for most
That's
people.
not boring, but we have lots of like musicians like the listening.
Okay.
So like good information. For
Yeah,
them,
yeah. It's good, and but being left-handed, I don't get to play many other guitars. So I like when somebody says, "Oh, I got this old '57." I said, "Well, good for you. What do I mean to do? I can't play it,